What's up, guys? Haven't seen you guys in a while, but we're back on Toro Loco. We got some stuff we need to finish up and some stuff we need to fix, some stuff we need to address. But let me turn you guys around, let you guys know what we're doing and what needs to be done. So if you guys have been following along with our little backyard build journey here, we just about got El Toro Loco wrapped up. We've already taken it out. We took it to its first show. I mean, it gets tons and tons of attention, and I mean, it looks cool. It looks cool. It runs okay, runs decent, but I just wish that it drove as good as it looks, because it does attract a lot of attention. It does really good at the shows. People dig it, you know. I like it, but the one thing that I don't like is how it rides. The suspension, or should I say the lack of suspension, really kind of makes this thing not a pleasant drive. So what I came up with is trying to finish my initial idea of putting airbags on this thing. Now, usually in my previous builds, I've put airbags to lower the trucks, but in this case we're going to be doing airbags to actually lift the truck up, because if you guys have been following since the beginning, oh yeah, let's get down here and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, pretty tight fit in here, but hopefully you guys are gonna be able to see. It did rain, so it's pretty wet under here. Not an enjoyable day, but it needs to be done. So we are riding on this bump stop here, right there. We're sitting directly on it. Look at it right there. And this is with the suspension all the way jacked up, which is pretty much how it rides. It rides just like that. So we are riding right on the bump stop. So there's no travel, suspension travel in this vehicle. So if you guys could just imagine how it would feel to ride on a 4-inch block of rubber. That's exactly how it feels to drive this thing. So what I'm gonna do, and what I was planning on doing in the past, we ran out of time trying to make it to the Kern County C30 and Taco show with this truck, was put some type of air ride suspension in here. Now it's gonna be more of a airlift type of suspension, just something to give us at least that much height, because right there we can drive perfectly. We have just about an inch or an inch and a half of clearance between the tire. Oh, let's get out of here. Man, what I would do for an engine lift, well, actually a vehicle lift. Getting too old for this, but this is the amount of distance that we get with that block. So right here we're able to roll forward, backwards, everything. It rides right there. It's a good height, it rides good, but it's sitting on that block. If I take the block off, it sits completely on the tire, and the tire does not roll. So that was our initial problem, was that this bed was never made for this truck to be lowered on 20-inch wheels. So it was never designed for what we did to it. When we did the 8-inch flip in the back, that was probably as much distance that was there originally when we bought the truck. It probably had about 8 inches of clearance right there. And when we flipped it, we lost the whole thing. So now we need to get that clearance back. So I went on the old trusty eBay, got me some bag mounts. This is just your generic air ride suspension bag mounts. I'm gonna shim them up, make them fit, make them work. And I have somewhere around here, oh right there, that box right there. Get that guy out of there, put it back here, and let's see if we can make this work. Be right back with you. Okay, so got this out of my little bag of tricks over there. Just stuff that I've accumulated over the years. I actually think this particular setup, Gilbert brought this. Yeah, as a matter of fact, he did bring this one. Brand new. So, we are gonna make this work one way or another. Looks like this one is just the kind of setup where something similar to this one actually. It just has the little valve, you know, like a tire. You just drill a hole, put them back here somewhere, you fill it up, the truck goes up. I want to say I might have a little small tank in here somewhere. Have to look, but if not, we'll have to just do it like that. Should be just fine. Come back with you a little bit. Let me get some of this stuff situated, and we'll start putting some bags in this thing. Ooh-wee, what a big mess in such a small time. But I was looking inside this box, and I could swear that I remembered seeing a compressor. We opened this, or actually I opened this to see what was inside a couple months ago, and when I had my kids kind of put stuff away, these boxes got separated. So had to dig and try to find it, and there's still stuff that's missing. But I think with what I have, because I've had other kits in the past that came with 1/4-inch line that I didn't use, and some 1/4-inch fitting. So for this, it'll be, you know, just perfect. But I was looking on this little print, and this existing T-fitting, we don't have an existing T-fitting because we're not running these air shocks, which what this was intended for was for something completely different. We're kind of piecing this together because this was bought separately from that, but we can make this work with these bags. It shouldn't be an issue because we're gonna do it pretty much like this, except no shocks. It'll be the bags. I'm gonna tee them off together, and we don't have this tee either. I have no idea where it is. Maybe I could find it, but I don't think so. But either way, I don't have this tee or this one, so I'm just gonna order some online. It'll be here by tomorrow. But we can start running the power switches and the fuse. We can run all this, get this mounted in there. Basically looks like this. Looks like our on and off, on off. This is just a light, pretty much. That's what it looks like. Looks like that's just a light. Well, I guess we'll put some power to this and see what it does. But I want to say that's just a light. And this is your up, 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 and then you push this to let the air out. Boom. Something like that. So let's go under the hood. This wire was in the little kit. Put a little eyelet on it real quick. and I'll come right back with you over there. Okay, very simple little connections here with my Amazon special. Man, I love this thing. Very nice. Can't believe I used to duct tape everything. This stuff's so cool. Crimp it, shrink it, it's good to go. So this is gonna go under the dash. I'm gonna mount it right here, mounting holes. And we got a fuse connection this side. I was gonna put it under the hood, I don't know why. Well, I could just connect it under the dash. Fuse panel or fuse box down there. Should be a little slot open. Connect that. 12-volt source. Probably a key on. I guess it doesn't really matter, because it's not going to turn on until you hit this button. And then we're going to mount this little compressor down there at the bottom. Screw it right onto the frame. I don't have the T still, but I did call Gilbert, and he says that he has one on his truck, and he'll be bringing that to me here shortly. So we'll just keep on moving, and hopefully when he gets here, it'll just be a matter of connecting these two together. So I'll keep moving, and I'll wait for the parts to come in. Now with these time changes, these days seems like they got extremely short, and it's really hard to get stuff done. But I'll show you guys what I was able to finish yesterday, and we'll just keep on moving forward. So just so I can kind of recap to myself, Gilbert was able to come by yesterday and bring us some T-fittings, so shout out to Gilbert for that. So now we're able to connect this stuff now. We got our little gauge connected. So I got that right there. Ran the hose and the wire through the firewall. That's this guy here. Just kind of have it ran alongside the frame rail there. And let's go down there and I'll show you what I think it's gonna work. So this is what I have, and I think I'm gonna try to use it like this, sideways, with this on our differential, and this somehow mounted to the side of the truck. But let's get some light down there, and we'll see what our options are. And hopefully we don't have to fabricate too much stuff, but if we do, I mean, it's just part of the process, because this stuff wasn't meant to be down there, but I need it, so we're gonna have to put it in there. I'm gonna connect this light, and I'll see you guys down there. Okay, well, now that I'm down here, I can actually see I got a pretty bad leak up here. That front seal is pretty bad. Well, I'm kind of glad I saw that, because I need to check the fluid level on this thing and get that thing replaced before we move too far along. But there's our hose coming from the front, and that's our wire, our power wire that's on the switch. There's the T that I got from Gilbert, and it's connected right there. T's off. That goes back here, that's in there, and that's over here. So that's our air supply. We're gonna have to put a T, not necessarily here, but wherever the bags end up, put a T here, and then T off to each bag. One way, one the other way, left and right. So we'll be lifting up at the same time. We'll just have one switch connected to both bags, and push the little button, and this should go up. Now I think what I'm going to start with today is removing those bump stops, and then lifting the jack. Oop, lifting the jack higher to where that tire pretty much maxes out, and then that'll be our fully deflated ride height. And we need to see where we can mount these bags. See, I was thinking, because the way the shocks are mounted up here, that we're gonna have to mount the bags behind the bar. So basically they'll be on here, and then they go down, and then the bag is gonna be back there. That's what I'm thinking, but I guess we won't know until we try. I'm gonna see if I can fit in here a little bit better, and let's see what we need to do to make this work. I'm gonna grab some tools. I'm gonna take that screw setup up there, unscrew that, get that guy out of the way, and then I'll come back with you. I'll bring this down and bring this in and see where in the world are we gonna put it. See you guys soon. Okay, I'm in here. Oh, very, very tightly, but we're in here. Let's see if I can. Not available using wide angle lens. I wanted to put a flash for you guys, but for some reason, oh, you know what? I'll get this light in here. There we go. Now we can see. Okay, so my original plan, it's not gonna work. Go figure, right? If it was that easy, it's not gonna work. What I was gonna try to do is weld a piece of plate up here on the frame, and then mount this guy right here. Let's see, right, where are you guys at? Right here. Mount this guy right here, and then, oh, sorry about that. Mount this guy on here. But because this rear differential has an offset, you can see how long that bar is compared to how short this side is. I don't have as much space as I needed for that to fit, because I would be way over here somewhere, and I'd have to modify this way too much to get it to work. But I think I found a different solution that might work better, and it might actually be easier. Is to mount this as close as I can right here, right there and there, and then just drill 2 holes into the frame and bolt the bag directly to the frame rail. Kind of like how I have the bag set up on Mr. Miyagi over there. The bag is bolted directly to the frame, and it works out very well. So I think my original plan not working actually came out good, because I think this plan is better and it's a lot easier to do. So the only thing is, this jack right here is totally in my way, but I know it will work. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get this thing cleaned up, and let's get it tacked on there, and then we'll mark the holes in the frame, drill them out, and bolt it in. And let's run some lines to this thing and see what it does. But I think that plan is going to work, so I'm gonna stick with it. It looks like it'll work on both sides, so yeah, let's do it. Okay, so a little change of plans. I ended up finding these brackets from, I think this is from the air ride kit, like a 67, 72 type kit for those trailing arms set up. But I think this will work even better this bolts to the bag. On the frame, I'll do just one bolt hole. So this will be bolted onto the frame, and then you just run the hose onto here. So I think that'll be better. It'll be just as heavy duty as if I was have the two smaller ones. Just have one big one in the center, and it'll be easier to unbolt. And then I just kind of modified this to fit better, give me a better weld. Now it's time to go down there and clean up that frame, and let's get something tacked up. Man, this is what I was talking about. Look how dark it is already, and it's 5:10. I already have to have flashlights down here, but I just finished one side. I got the brackets down there welded now. Ow. So we got the brackets on here. Kind of hard to see, but I have to take my word for it. There you go. And then up there, I got one hole drilled, which is, man, that was a pain. And that's a big bolt that goes in the center of that. You gotta go over here, lay this side out. I'll drill that one, and I guess I have to come back with you guys tomorrow, because you're not gonna be able to see anything I'm doing. But I should have everything drilled and bolted up, and I'm gonna finish this little wiring, and tomorrow I'll come back with you, and we'll try to go up and down with this thing, and hopefully everything works fine. We should have a lot more travel out of this, you know, suspension. We'll go test drive it, and gotta finish down there also. All the wires and the hose that we ran down here needs to be, man, some of that stuff looks pretty bad, but that stuff was already there. But I'll come back with you guys tomorrow. Nope, didn't work. That's crazy. This is not working out. It's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be, but I think we figured it out. And let me show you what I had to order to make this little guy work. So, got everything hooked up. I did successfully put air into the bags, and the truck did go up, but it would not go down. I'm not sure what was going on right there, because I tore apart this little thing here to see how it works. I mean, it's kind of how I figure out how to do stuff. Is like I check to see what it does, and on this side right here where it says deflate is the other side of this, and on the other side of that button is pretty much just a tire valve like this one. So it's nothing more than a tire valve that's going through that plate. Man, this thing's long. Going through that plate, just like that. Focus, focus, focus. There you go. So this goes through that plate, and the button is initially pushing this little thing right here. Psst, 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 psst. And that should be going down, and it was not doing that. And it was not registering any air, but the truck was going up. So that was the first problem. Second problem was where I welded the brackets, I was counting for a 3-inch deflated bag, and this bag is not a 3-inch deflated bag. So this is actually a 5-inch deflated bag. So when I was able to get the air out of the bag successfully, the truck was actually higher than we started. So I was like, what in the world is going on? So I took out the bump stops. Hello. I took out the bump stops and replaced it with the bag. And these bags have a built-in factory bump stop inside. Just like that right there. Which does not let it deflate all the way down like how I was thinking in my head. It did not work. But everything down there is set up for a 3-inch bag, 3-inch deflated bag. So I got some overnighted. So what I'm thinking was happening was, since I was getting just a few pounds of pressure, maybe 5 or 6 pounds of pressure, was already making this bed go up. That's why it was not registering on the gauge. And I mean, it was going up pretty fast, a little bit too soon. So I think a smaller bag, you would have to have more pressure in the smaller bags to make this thing go up, which should in turn give me enough pressure in the line to register on the gauge. That's what I'm thinking, because there's no other way to put this thing together. I was thinking maybe I have that T turned around, but I don't think that would matter at all. So I think it's the bag. I bought new bags. Those bags are too big anyways, so we're gonna put in these smaller bags, put some air into it, and we'll see what it does. We'll keep going. Okay, get our new bags in place and bolted up. Now these particular bags, they just have a pin right there. You guys can see that right there, right there. So that's just gonna go in this hole here, just to kind of keep it in place. If everything works out good, I guess we can fabricate a little plate that comes out of here that would have this hole, and then this would bolt onto the frame. But I was thinking that if you ever really wanted to lift this thing up as high as I'm doing right now, you'd actually be pulling against the bag, kind of lifting it with the bag, and I'm not sure if I want that, because since it's bolted on at the bottom, it's not going to go anywhere. The bag is going to stay in its place. So like right now, for example, I have this thing lifted up as high as, you know, off the ground, and you see between the frame and the bag there was I don't know what, like 2 or 3 inches in between there. So I don't know. So I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the jack on here, lift this back up, take these babies out of here, slowly let it down, and I'm going to let it just rest, the frame rest on the bag, and then make sure just that little pin goes inside the hole, and I pressure it up and see what it does. So let's do that now, because the last couple days I've been seeing that you really only have until 5 o'clock to work, and then it starts to get real dark. And I have lights, but it's just not the same when I try to record for you guys. When I have just a spotlight in the background, it's really hard to see, and honestly it's pretty annoying for me to work under spotlight. Can't really see what I'm doing. If I drop something, it just, I don't know. If you guys have ever worked in those situations, you know what I'm talking about. It just kind of sucks. So let's try to get this done. I think third time's a charm. I think this is gonna work. And this is a factory replacement bag, which is good. This was for if everything works out, I'll link it up. But I had tried one of these that I kind of just had lying around, and I couldn't find the pair to that bag, so I bought something similar, and I think it's just an air spring from a Dodge something, but I'll look it up. Let me get this thing down on the ground and let's get some air in these bags. So that works out good. That's what I wanted right there. So the bags are fully deflated. This side always stayed up for some reason. Not sure why that happened. But let's get some air in these bags and see if we can get this gauge to go up and see if we can get some air to release. You see, so I'm pressuring up already because I can feel myself lifting up. See, it's lifting, but it's not saying that there's any air in these things. What you trying to do? I'm trying to get the... Well, it's doing what I want it to do, but it's not doing it how I want it to do it. So, as you guys can see, there's air in the bags. Now, it's not registering any air in the bags, in the gauge, and it won't let me release any air out of the bags. This was the part that was just confusing the heck out of me, because it's working, but it's not working. This should be going psst, 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 and it's not doing nothing. But it is going up. But the gauge is not going up. Oh man. But we are going up. Definitely a lot higher than I would need this thing to ever be. But now I have no way of getting the air out of the bags. And this is the part that's kind of getting to me now. So there's no other way to connect this thing. Gauge. Okay. Tees off. That came factory back there. And then went directly to the bags, cut it, and go to the compressor. Not sure. I guess I'm gonna keep putting air in these things, and it's gotta eventually say it's got something in there, right? Or am I missing something? There is 2 wires back here behind this gauge, but I know for sure those are just for a light. This is just a mechanical gauge. Nothing. Something? For sure. I mean, this thing's up there now. You guys can see that we were sitting on the tire. We are currently at least 3.5 inches high. So I know there's air in the bag. Let me see if I can have my kids stand on here. Hey, come here real quick. Both of you guys. One of you guys stand right here. And the other one on the other side. Just stand on that edge right there.
Stand?
Yeah, stand on there. Let me see you guys jump, like up and down. No. It's not doing it. Alright, get off.
What are you supposed to do?
Apparently nothing. That was just for fun. Okay. Let me scratch my head for a few seconds. And I gotta figure this out. Because it's working, but it's not working. And that's even worse. I'll come back with you. Now, call me crazy, but I think the problem is right here. But at the same time, it can't be right there. Because it's not reading any air. So why would it release air? Is air not getting back here? I think, let's see. Maybe we could disconnect the gauge. If we disconnect the gauge and turn on the pump, we should feel air right here. Let me take that off. Something in here is it's not working. And there's plenty of air in those bags. I know that for sure. Those kids were jumping on that thing and it was holding them up. There's gotta be air in there. So let me figure this out. Take this thing apart. The only way I know how to fix stuff is to tear it apart and put it back together. Because just because it's new doesn't mean that it works. So let's try this. Okay, so I lifted this thing up and I'm down here again. So here's the T that's connected to our little pump here. So our little pump is connected to that switch up there. And you turn it on and it pumps air through here. And then it's supposed to be going through here to the T. This runs inside the cab to that gauge. This one here, as you can see right there, it's going back there to this other T. I'm glad I haven't cut anything to length because it's not working exactly how I would want. But if you can see, there is air in here. Well, I mean, besides the fact that you can see the truck is being lifted. It's gotta be kind of hard. Let's see if I can put you guys somewhere. Maybe. Let's see if you can see. There you go. So, this is the gauge side. See, this is going towards the gauge. So why am I not able to do this over there? I would say there's plenty of air to register up there. So why is it not? Alrighty, let's see. I wonder if I can Giovanni, on the back of the truck, give me that come here real quick. Yep, right next to the gauge, push it. Okay, so this is working. Something is not working going up towards the gauge. All right, thanks. Okay, so my stuff is working. That T is working. That T does not matter which one is connected to which. The problem is in the hose going towards the gauge. Let's go find the problem. Found the problem. Oh, I tell you what. So, I don't know how good you guys are gonna pick this up, but this line right there, this line was kinked under the truck like this. I don't want to re-kink it. I was kind of flattening it out, trying to make it work. But what happened is when this got fed through the firewall and I ran it under the frame, it was in a spiral because they come all rolled up like this. When I grabbed it out here to pull it, it tightened against itself in a knot right here. So that's why it was able to pressure up, because it wasn't losing any pressure. And it was in between that and that, right in the center, right somewhere in here. Because what I did is I disconnected it from the gauge. I disconnected the T, and I just pulled the whole thing out through the hole, and I couldn't do it when it got to that point where it was kinked. So that was a really dumb problem to have, but I don't like hiding anything because this is the stuff that sometimes people need to see. You know, sometimes you throw yourself in a position where, why is something so simple not working? But you know, I'm a problem solver. If I have a problem, man, I can't stop until I figure out what the problem is. But let me feed this in here really carefully, make sure it doesn't kink going down up under here, and we should connect this back to there. We should be able to pressure up, and a gauge should move, and we should be able to air down. Yeah, let's try again. A moment of truth now. So this should be good. There we go. Now it's building pressure. Okay. Beautiful. Got him. Let's set this thing down and see what it looks like. Then we need to get a jack on this side, lift this up, and then zip tie it in its final position. And man, finally call this one done. This was starting to piss me off. Let's lower this guy. Man, it's kind of hard. There we go. Sometimes that thing goes down super fast. Sometimes it doesn't want to move at all. Okay. Awesome. Awesome juice. Like, I knew it wasn't going to take very much pressure to get this thing to go up, because that's about as high as I even want it. And we're at 20 pounds. Just lower this thing all the way down.
Work good?
Yeah.
Not on that sensor?
Huh?
Not on nothing?
No.
Bag?
Yep. Is it sitting on the tire?
No?
That should be everything out of the bag. We should be low rider. Yeah. So that's it right there. This is like, I don't know if you guys can see in there. So fully deflated, we're about a half inch of clearance in here. So it probably will be able to roll straight, really slow. Definitely don't think I'd recommend right there, because if you hit a dip, it's gonna almost feel like you slammed on the brakes. But now we have the option to come up. You've seen what we did. We leave it around 20 pounds. 20 pounds gave us like 3 inches of clearance in there. More than enough. If you want to have a bunch of people back here, parade or something, you have the option to put more pressure in the bag. So let me try to wrap all this up and see if we can get this thing on the road. Well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'll see you some other time, I guess. Man, that was a nice truck. Oh, it always feels weird when you don't see it anymore. We'll see what kind of crazy ideas are coming alive.
Square body builders, that's the name. Fueling passion, igniting flame. Backyard hustle, grinding hard, turning rust into works of art.